There is a high probability that the US will pull out of the Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty (INF Treaty) in the coming days. The president recently told reporters, "We have to develop those weapons. We're going to terminate the agreement and we're going to pull out." He had earlier said if Russia's doing it and China's doing it and we're adhering to the agreement, that's unacceptable. If the US ultimately withdraws from INF Treaty, many missile systems will be in line to have range upgrades. In this video, Defense Updates analyzes why the US Army's Precision Strike Missile will be America's answer to Russia and China post-withdrawal from INF Treaty. Let's get started. INF Treaty was signed by Ronald Reagan and Mikhail Gorbachev in 1987. It banned ground-launched missiles with ranges from 500 kilometers to 5,500 kilometers. The INF Treaty eliminated about 2,700 nuclear and conventional missiles, as well as their launchers. This was achieved by May 1991. This included short-range missile with 500 to 1,000 kilometers, 310 to 620 miles range, and intermediate-range missiles with 1,000 to 5,500 kilometers, 620 to 3,420 mile range. The treaty had provisions for 10 years on-site inspections. INF Treaty went a long way in ending the serious standoff between US Pershing and cruise missiles and Soviet SS-20 missiles in Europe. It should be noted that the treaty does not cover sea-launched missiles. On November 29, 2017, speaking at the Wilson Center, National Security Council official Christopher Ford had revealed that the weapons violating the INF Treaty was the Novator 9M729, having NATO designation SSC-8. As per the United States, Novator 9M729 is land-based and has a range between 500 kilometers to 5,500 kilometers, depending on fuel load and warhead used. This makes the missile violate the terms of the INF Treaty. The 9M729 is capable of hitting targets throughout Western Europe with tactical nuclear warheads in the event of a conflict. This missile, in particular, has prompted US strategists to rethink on INF Treaty. The INF Treaty already had much opposition in America's power circle. Harry Harris, the former commander of US Pacific Command, who's now US ambassador to South Korea, is one of them. In testimony submitted to Congress last year, Harris pointed out several important aspects. He noted that China is not a signatory of any treaty like this and used it to develop a large arsenal of missiles. As per him, Chinese rocket forces has more than 2,000 ballistic and cruise missiles, almost 95% of which would violate the INF Treaty if China was a signator. He said, over the past 2 decades, China has developed numerous ground and air-launched missile systems that far outrange US systems. They've done this at a fraction of the cost of some of our more expensive systems. Constrained in part by our adherence to the INF Treaty, the US has fallen behind in our ability to match the long-range fires capabilities of the new era. Currently, US Army uses MGM-140 Army Tactical Missile System. Army Tactical Missile System is a surface-to-surface missile manufactured by the American company Lockheed Martin. It has a range of over 100 miles, 160 kilometers, with solid propellant. US is already working towards a system that will have a range of 499 kilometers, just below the 500-kilometer range restricted by the INF Treaty. The program is designed as Precision Strike Missile, or PrSM. The Army had selected 2 competitors several years ago, Raytheon and Lockheed Martin, to build prototypes for the PrSM program. Testing of these prototypes is expected to begin in the middle of next year. But with imminent withdrawal from INF Treaty, the missile could be developed to have far greater range. Colonel John Rafferty, the director of PrSM program, in a meeting with reporters at the Association of the U.S. Army's convention, said, "We're going to play by the rules until we're told the rules have changed. That's our approach on the team and the guidance from senior leaders." He added, "We've worked with our industry partners to determine what is the feasibility going farther than 499 kilometers, and we believe that it's entirely possible to go further with the current PrSM missile. Our discussions about advanced propulsion leads us to believe that inside the same form factor, with a change in propulsion, we could go significantly farther. Viewers may note that the U.S. Army is pushing towards a replacement for the Army Tactical Missile System with PrSM by 2023, which is much earlier than the initial timeline of 2027.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more videos like this. Hit the like button if you find the video interesting, and kindly provide your feedback in the comment section. This will help us improve.